Now, over the years, I've seen many different Star Trek acts on stage, maybe at a convention, Star Trek fan club, somewhere like that. All kinds of things, rock bands that play Star Trek music. I've even seen some comedy on stage, but I've never seen both the comedy and the music together. Two men have taken that challenge up, they've put both of those together, and indeed they are collectively known as the Picard Maneuver. Let's have a look at the guys in action.
Together we are Picard Maneuver.
That's right, ladies.
That is right.
Ladies,
Woo.
that's right.
I know. If you're thinking out there, hey, we know where that name comes from. Picard Maneuver. It is from one obscure episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
You're welcome.
You know where it's at.
Ladies,
Yeah. Oh, that motherfracker. Yeah. Oh, Deep Space Nine in her pants.
I don't know what they've done that though. It's true.
Try it tonight. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know for radiant. You know what I'm saying? Google it. It's kind of funny.
Assimilate it.
Assimilate it, motherfucker.
So yes, this may be surprising to you. Mike and I, not the sports stars you probably thought we were. Four.
Bingo. Not so much.
We're nerds.
No. Go AV Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Starlight, motherfucker. We do video yearbooks.
I think you yelled at him and brought it down really low.
I kind of did. I want to get it real. He's got an earring.
I know. Well, listen, we're here to help you tonight.
Word up.
That's what we do.
Tech support.
We feel...
What? Control Alt Delete. Don't do that in Crenshaw. That means something different.
You see Geek Squad tagged somewhere.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
Us.
Apple for knife? I'm so drunk.
Indeed, joining us now live on video Skype, I'm very, very pleased to say that we have both Adam and Mike of the Picard Maneuver. Welcome, guys. How are things with you?
Hey, great. Thank you so much for having us. We were chatting a little earlier. We didn't realize it was such a time difference, so thank you for having us.
It's Trek technology today.
But in space, there is no time, so
That's very true.
we should be fine.
Absolutely. Star Trek started it all, didn't they? I mean, you said earlier when I was talking to you, this is your view screen, if you like, and this is exactly the thing, the technology, it's come from Star Trek. I mean, I don't think scientists invented it, really, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the iPod is basically the, the computer,
you want to try this? The pad?
The pad. Yeah, there we go. The iPad is basically the pad from Star Trek. Elevators, though.
No, I think that was before.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
maybe I can't
we're
take
pretty
credit
sure Picard went on chat roulette, let's be honest.
That's very true.
I've never even thought of it, but I guarantee he must have. I mean, he's got to have had the 24th century equivalent, I think, you know?
Well, at least Riker did, we assume.
Because he was a ladies' man.
Absolutely. You know, I was fascinated. I found your website, which is picardmaneuvercomedy.com, and it was sort of a search for Star Trek acts in general. You know, I wanted to see who was out there and who was actually, in a sense, doing Star Trek in a totally different way than I've ever seen before. And I caught your clips on YouTube. Very funny stuff. Like, what actually brought you together in the first place? Before you came to Picard Maneuver, how did you actually meet?
Destiny?
He flatters me.
That's true.
That got weird. I'm married. We were actually both we were both in film school, actually, out here in California at Long Beach State College. We were both taking writing courses. We both ended up at one point in a comedy writing class together and kind of met there, went our separate ways. After college, took our film degrees, both different places, and threw them away completely and started doing stand-up comedy.
Just like my mom wanted.
Oh, they are so incredibly proud. Don't let them see this.
Exactly. She still thinks I'm in medical school.
Yeah.
So let's keep,
I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
But we ended up kind of on the same circuit for like a year or two there.
Yeah, we comedy, especially stand-up out here, is a very lonely one. So it definitely helps to bring a friend along to open mics or any stage. So at least, you have someone, at least going to laugh at your jokes or pretend to laugh like friends do. But
that was good.
That was good. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, because like I was saying earlier that I saw a lot of acts at conventions and things like that, but what I noticed from the dates that you've played and that you have upcoming is that you're actually taking this to a non-Trek location. I mean, it's almost somewhat edgy, it's dangerous. How do the people that are not necessarily Star Trek fans react to it?
I mean, that's a great question. Yeah. Well, we hope, or we run to our car very quickly. I think the key for us has always been, you know, in our act, I think the most important thing for us is very honest. It's who we are. We are two normal guys who, well, but love Star Trek and just had this goofball, just kind of fascination over certain aspects of it that we decided, let's bring it into the act and be honest to people and say, listen, this may not be your world. You may have never heard of it. Giggle if you want, but we all have our own thing that everyone feels like, oh, nobody else understands this.
And we take it to a little bit of an extreme as far as being a little bit goofy and a little bit, though our name is very specific to one episode of one season of one variation of Star Trek, but we try to get that mass appeal by also bringing up Star Wars and other science, fiction. To kind of make we're ambassadors to the rest of the nerd world and geek world, I guess.
And then wherever else we go, relationships and whatever is going on in our lives, we work it all into the act at the same time.
Absolutely. I have to say, you mentioned there the name, and of course people, I'm sure a lot of people will have it straight away. The episode title, Next Generation, The Battle. I believe I'm right. I'm always worried about getting things like that wrong.
No, you're spot on.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm not as big a fan as I thought I was. I had to look it up. I was on Wiki,
Yeah, I mean, there's actually 2 definitions.
Right.
3, if you count the hilarious comedy duo. But
who are they?
The Smothers Brothers.
Oh, okay.
I think is
that was over there. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, we're actually quite surprised, but though we are doing this act in comedy clubs and very not Star Trek focused venues, we still find Trekkies out there, which is great.
Yeah. I think Find Next Gen was one of those shows too. A lot of people, it was really kind of a crossover show that, a lot of people who maybe never consider themselves Trekkies really watched too, and have a little familiarity on it anyway. It's so in the social, the atmosphere as I get it, just Star Trek is there,
And definitely what helped was the new variation with J.J. Abrams.
Oh, sure.
That's kind of helped bring that out live again.
For sure, I hadn't even thought. That must have been a whole breath of fresh air for anyone involved in anything Star Trek, really, wasn't it? Again, that did kind of change the landscape a bit. As fans, and I find myself asking this question a bit, and seeing as you bring it up, that new movie, what would you say about that? Were you happy with it?
Personally, I was a little nervous.
Yeah, me too.
Coming up with, right away, like, oh, we're gonna restructure everything, but I think they attacked it well.
How far do you want me to nerd out here?
Oh, here we go.
As far as, because I've done plenty of it myself in my time,
Let's go to the Delta Quadrant with this. Let's do it.
Is JJ a friend of yours?
He isn't. He isn't at all. No.
Okay.
We're never going to be extras on this film.
My personal opinion, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a really fun action sci-fi movie. It was fun to see a lot of the characters there. But
he's going to say a lot of fun.
Really a lot of fun, though. It lost a little bit of the classic Star Trek to me, and kind of that Roddenberry-esque human feel a little bit to me. And, I know a lot of fans who would completely argue with me on that. And tell me I'm an idiot. My wife being one, and that guy. But that was my feeling. Don't get me wrong. As much as I may make fun of it at times, you're gonna see me first in line at midnight when it comes out next year in the theater for the next one.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, you mentioned there the chances of being an extra. Now, that's a very real possibility, isn't it? Being from LA, you're in the heart of things Hollywood-wise. Is that a realistic possibility? Do people get cast for that?
Yeah, actually,
we've got a friend right now who's actually working on it.
Yeah, he's, I believe, a science cadet or something like that.
Yeah, it's
one of the battle scenes or whatnot.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, yeah.
So I mean, it's very hush hush. You can't really sneak us on as a caterer or something like that.
His backpack would be huge
I
that
know.
day.
But if there's a third one, which I hope it'll be the Star Trek 3, The Search for More Money. Hopefully, we'll be able to sneak on to that one.
We're going to have a Picard Maneuver cameo in there. I can see you, I don't know, maybe just on the bridge or something, just a walk on, you know.
Oh yeah, or just run on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just beam on. Just break through the turbo lift doors and go to town.
So again, I'm delighted to have you here on Video Skype. Of course, the advantage is we can see you. Now, I would like to ask if you'd possibly play a song and maybe get a flavour of what we might hear if we went to one of your shows.
Gosh, I mean, we hadn't actually planned on playing a song, but I just brought this
He
along.
carries that guitar everywhere. It's ridiculous. Even in the library, it's just uncalled for.
I'm crazy. So I would say here's the thing about our act. Like I said, we're very honest, and we always really like to give a lot of advice, actually, at our shows. If you come to our shows, you're going to get advice.
Yeah, sometimes we'll be funny, but it's mainly a Dear Abby situation.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Just a lot of
right.
advice.
Yeah. Like I said, I actually got married this last year.
I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty fantastic.
congratulations.
Being a nerd in this background, that's
Yeah,
pretty
so,
fantastic.
she's real.
That's even better. I got Doctor Who on Blu-ray, so we're covering all our bases.
All things being equal, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But in our advice, like if there's any single women out there watching this video right now,
Mhm.
I can tell you one of the keys for me and for my wife, she always says this, the way to meet Mr. Right, if a woman's looking for Mr. Right, data trekking.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true. I just saw that all your hits went up
Mhm.
from this podcast.
Promise,
There's a lot of advantages.
Yeah.
We're not going to run off with another woman
Mm-mm.
because we don't know how to speak to women. It's very hard. It's just kind of what are you doing there?
Don't know how to run either, you see. Oh. He's fat.
In America, the McRib came back. Do you have the McRib over there, Darren?
You know, we do actually, but it's usually called other things. Now, I couldn't tell you what it is at the moment.
Understandable, but they go away, right? So you gotta eat them fast.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my problem.
So meeting women was never easy for us, and in our experience, it went a little like this.
I log on to the internet, scoping it out, and immediately she catches my eye, okay? Think Deanna Troi, season 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know how to pick up women. I know how to pull her in with my tractor beam of romantic diction. I'll just walk up to her and and say, baby.
My face is set to love, and I wanna make you my rhyme slave girl. Is there a tricorder in your pocket? Are you just happy to see me? My face is set to love.
That didn't work at all.
That didn't work.
That's
Why?
what I don't know.
Why?
That was like my A game. I don't know what I did wrong there.
Yeah.
What?
I'm so sorry. You know what? This is my fault. Guys, you can't tell women there's tricorders in your pants.
Why not?
It's where vaginas go.
I don't think we can say that on Skype. What I don't. Okay. Well, let's face it. We've become friends over the internet. I haven't really bent the space-time continuum lately. That's a intercourse joke for all you physicists out there. That's more trivial than it's worth.
Star Trek.
We got about a couple more minutes on this song. I don't know what should I do.
You know what? You gotta change subjects. Women don't always, I know this comes as a surprise, women don't always want to talk about Star Trek.
Okay,
You gotta talk about something women want to talk about.
All right, I'll just walk up
Change the
to the
subject.
next one and change the subject and say, baby.
Hi, my name is Luke, and your Death Stars are making the force strong in my pants. Come back to my place, and maybe I'll show you my Wookiee dance. He's having a minor stroke. Don't worry. We'll,
Oh, that hurt.
my face is set to love.
You know what she said?
What did she say?
Well, I actually, I didn't deserve her, to be perfectly honest.
Why?
Yeah, well, for all you normals out there who are not, don't know too much about Star Trek, or Star Wars rather, in 1978, the holiday Star Wars special specifically stated Wookiees cannot and will not dance.
It's a fact.
It's science.
It's hard science.
Gonna give her a little hard science later, if you know what I mean. Sex. And then she entered my life.
Yeah.
Out of a 7, she was a 9.
The only crowd that ever probably would have gotten that joke.
Yeah,
right?
we never get a laugh on that one. Hopefully we get a laugh on this one. She was perfect. I decided to go all out.
You gotta go out, man. If you find the woman of your dreams, you gotta take down your shields, you know?
Make first contact.
Make a little first contact. Enter her prize, some would say. Walk up to her and say, baby. Thrust a little at the screen. A little more. He actually has a girlfriend. Can you believe that?
I know. American dream.
You take my Captain Kirk out of his original packaging. Touch my communicator badge, it goes ding a ling. My face is set to love, alright. My face is set to love. Keep it coming. My face is set to love. Everybody. My face is set to love. Just the ladies. My face is set to love. Just the guys.
Oh, this is stupid.
Just the androids.
Boop, beep, boop, bop, boop, beep, boop.
He does it every time. My face is set to love.
You know what she said?
What?
She said I was perfect.
Really?
I was adequate. I'm wearing a Starfleet uniform.
Okay.
She was impressed.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I have a job.
He does.
Okay, maybe it's at a theme park, but it's a job.
Pays in churros.
All right, I pay rent. Maybe it's to my parents, but they're not gonna interrupt us when we're making out. I'm a gentleman. I close the door. Okay. She wanted to bring me home on a Friday night and watch old reruns of Babylon 5. I said, baby, hold up. That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. You never told me this.
Yeah,
She really
what?
said that she wanted to. This girl you met. She said she wanted to watch Babylon.
Yeah, she said
You-
Babylon 5.
you don't- you
What
don't
year is
mean-
this? 1999?
I don't know. You told me the girl who wants to
watch
watch it. What a nerd.
Excellent stuff.
Now, guaranteed.
Excellent stuff. If you could see me here, I'm in tears from the laughing. That was
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you, Darren. Thank you.
We're not saying. We were afraid you were going to say in tears that you asked us on your show.
Exactly.
That
and
was-
on our live show, we'd be running to our cars.
It's funny. It's a good idea, you know. And live is something I'd like to see. It's very improvisational. I mean, do you change songs each time, or do they kind of go off in different directions, whatever you feel like?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was kind of funny. We talked a lot about this last night. We were like, well, we love doing this song, and it's obviously very Star Trek based. It's our favorite piece. We almost always do this one in our longer sets. But it was very weird for us to sit down and do this because Mike is generally in pretty much through about 85% of that song just running through the audience and doing the entire show, just dancing on women's tables.
Yeah.
He's been known to eat their food at comedy clubs.
Because we're poor.
Yeah,
But
it's not so
very-
much for comedy so much as a need.
Yeah.
When you're a comedian in LA, you need to get it wherever you can.
That's very true. Yeah, we try to be very interactive in our live stuff. Be it me going out there, also very improvisational, as you said. We try to keep it fresh, and we have a catalog of songs that we try to do. But this one, "Phaser Set to Love" that you just heard, is kind of our bedrock.
Yeah.
For comedy.
Yeah.
That's the hit single, you know. I can see it on a CD. It'd be great, but you know, it's something that is it baffles me. The idea of doing stuff improvisational. I mean, what kind of a skill is that to learn? Is it tricky to do?
A useless one, mostly, I'd say. You know what? I got to give full credit. You know, we write everything together. We've been at this act for about 5 years
Going on
now.
5, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Mike is really the stronghold of improv guy. He comes from an improv background. I a little bit more of a stand-up background. And so if you come to one of our shows, you would kind of see, you know, if you came a few nights in a row, we'll get you in for free. No, we'll make you pay. And you'll see that every night there's kind of these spots that you'll see we're hitting, but I kind of have to leave the door open because even if I don't, this guy's going to do whatever he wants anyway.
Well, you make me sound like a comedy jerk, but luckily that's kind of what we have evolved into. Adam being almost a ringmaster to.
You have to put in the password so we can see the screen again.
Sorry, our screen kind of went off there.
Technology's great.
But are you still there? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries.
The screen kind of went weird. Editing. But
I mean, is improv scary for you anymore?
Oh yeah, I still get stage fright whenever we go on because I mean I've been doing improv for probably 8 years now, and it's definitely a skill you can that can be developed and honed in on. It's very scary, but luckily I've been able, especially with this act, to even hone in on those skills to kind of bring out as much comedy as we can. And luckily, I got to give it credit to Adam because I mean he is the ringleader as far as keeping everything on track. Because I kind of go on tangents that even Voyager didn't see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you really worked to tie that.
I tried. I
Well,
tried to give some love to
you were out
Voyager.
there in the Delta Quadrant for a while with that, so.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, having that ability to just kind of go up there and go wild in a sense with whatever you want to do. You can see in the clips that, you know, you're both fully into it. I suppose, what kind of process is that to kind of build yourself up to go, okay, I'm going to basically do whatever I like. I'm going to go on there, I'm going to perform, I'm going to go crazy, really. I mean, is there a barrier at all to doing that? I suppose it would be the nerves more than anything.
I think in comedy there's different processes. You know, when we're writing, I don't think there can be a barrier. I mean, we have to go all the way and just say whatever. You have to be in a safe place to do that.
Certainly.
When it gets to stage, you have to know your audience. So, I mean, there are barriers in a sense, but you have to know what they are and create them that night. You know, I mean, there are nights where you go and, I don't know, I mean, we've played some weird audience. I mean, one of the weirdest shows we ever played, and it was actually really a privilege to do this show, but at the same time, we just were so out of our element. We played a prison once. We were asked by, it was a youth prison, and it was a really wonderful experience, you know, to go and do this. And when we were there, we have a song that is just kind of, it's not... What do I say? It's a little blue. But it was early on something that the person who hired us or asked us to do this show, volunteer at, really loved. And it ends with us being in prison in the whole thing. And they begged us to do it. We're like, no. So we had to rewrite it basically on the spot there. That this show, and here's what it is. As PG as this is, the song just abruptly ended with Mike doing a line about punching a woman in the ovaries.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and
that was considered okay by the people who organized this show. They're like, that's fine. You can talk about punching a woman in the ovaries. Just don't say the word prison. Like, okay.
Yeah, that was definitely a test. But I mean, it was definitely an experience. But it would also kind of also brought up the fact that you got to know your audience and try to adapt as best you can. I mean, that was an extreme, obviously, but. But trying to adapt as best you can to entertain the audience. I mean, that's definitely the forefront.
Here's what it comes down to. I had friends who were surfers growing up, and they'll tell me, you know, once that bug bites you, surfing, there's just no going back, no matter how bad you are at it. Same sort of thing what we do.
Oh, certainly.
You get those nerves, but it's addictive. It's kind of our drug, you know. I mean, we're as square and nerdy as it comes, and we don't do any drugs or anything cool kids do. Play football, and this is it for us.
Yeah, it's almost an adrenaline rush, and like majority of the time I don't remember what I do on stage because it's just so quick, and we've come to the point where we kind of gel, we kind of flow with the comedy, and hopefully that works.
It does lead to the question as well. I mean, I said earlier that it's obviously a case of bringing Star Trek to people who aren't at a convention and maybe you're like, well, what's this about? Do you ever get any hecklers of any kind who maybe give out and you know, create a bit of a show there while you're on show, if you like?
You know, we haven't had to deal with too many. We've had a few drunk people before, but you know, I think for us, it's almost an invitation for fun. We almost like when there's people. Here's what you find. You know, we do kind of a across the board show. Sometimes you're playing a Wednesday night at 11 o'clock and there's 12 people in the audience, if you're that lucky to have that many people who came out to see their friend who's a stand-up in LA. They don't really want to be there. And there's nights you're playing a packed house, people come to see comedy and they want to laugh. And there are nights that you have those folks who don't want to be there, and it's almost kind of fun because it's the challenge of, you know, you get in their face, and our thing is get in their face politely.
Yeah, I mean,
and we love it. It's fun.
Yeah, you notice with like, especially like hecklers, they feed off kind of the negativity, especially of calling them out as being hecklers. But I mean, luckily with this act, we definitely bring a positive, positive thing to the table, so there's not too much hecklers.
I'd say the most heckling we've had is we've had pizzas ordered in the middle of our show.
That was fun.
This was the show Mike was performing, and then we just heard, "Hey, who ordered the pizza?"
Just right off.
Right in the middle of the show. But yeah, that was pretty much.
But as far as people yelling out like Trek sucks or anything like that, we haven't really.
Why would they say that?
I don't know. They're jerks, but we have not. Made contact with that kind of an audience. We've actually first contact with those Borg jerks. We love the Borg, but actually,
running for office
a little bit.
You were being so politically correct and just giving as much as at all possible.
I'm trying to build a fan base for jerk.
Let him ask a question.
I'm trying to. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, talking about Star Trek in general, of course, very exciting news for you guys. You've been to conventions, I believe, before, but this year, Las Vegas 2012, the Creation Convention, you're actually bringing Picard Maneuver there.
Yeah.
We're very excited.
We are really excited. Actually, this will be Mike's first convention. I've done several of them. I used to go to the fan fests back in the 90s and had a lot of fun doing those things. You know, it's such a fun little and kind of goofball world, you know, in that the most positive way possible, in that you all like this fantasy thing. You get to come together and kind of live it out for a day and then go back to your regular lives. But yeah, we are headed out to Vegas this year. We're going to be taking the guitars, taking a probably small little camera crew with us, which will be a friend of ours with an iPhone. I'm kidding. We can't afford iPhones.
No.
And we'll head out there. We're going to do some video work. We're going to go on to the convention floor, probably, you know, interview with people, blog, and tweet it out.
I'm going to try and fight a Klingon.
Yeah. Are you coming out to it?
You know, I'm not this year, but I was going to say you're going to have a great experience, because I was there in, I think it was 2006, I believe it was, and whatever it was the last maybe 2 years of the experience. So it was that kind of combo. You know, you got the experience
I'm really
and
too excited.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
you know, the convention as well. So it was a great experience. And to be honest, it's the Super Bowl, really, isn't it, for Star Trek fans?
Yeah,
definitely.
you know, it really is. And we, like I said, this will be our first time going out to Vegas for it. And, you know, we've done Comic-Con several times, and but this is really, yeah, you're right, the Super Bowl for it. I'm so sad to see the experience gone, though.
Oh, yeah.
And so you did get to see it before it left, though, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got in there, and I think it was one of the kind of after parties. They have all these sort of packages and stuff. Actually, I figured out best ticket to get, basic ticket, but that's another story. But, you know, it's all a bit of a money thing after that. But, yeah, I mean, it was really good to actually be able to see it. You had the Quarks bar, you had the motion simulator rides and all that. But actually, I mean, I suppose if you ever wanted to get a look at what it was when it was there, I believe one of the movie Blu-rays has an actual video of it.
Oh, does it? Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Like, it's a bit of a souvenir from it, you know?
Oh, nice.
That is, I mean, because, so you did the behind-the-scenes thing, correct?
Oh, yeah.
When I, first time I went, I was probably shortly after it opened, maybe in the area of about 14, I think 15, and did that transporter effect and was blown away. And when I got to see how they did it, just amazing. Just
Exactly.
an amazing piece of technology to give you that effect of being suddenly beamed
Nice.
onto the Enterprise.
Absolutely. I hadn't realised actually you had been. I was thinking it was your first time or whatever. So it's great that you did get to see it. I hope it comes back. And I mean, there was talk of bringing it out to a mall in Vegas that I think never
I
happened.
remember there was some talk to take it down to the downtown area. There was a venue that was going to possibly at least bring the History of the Future Museum out there and Quark's Bar and some of the stuff. But I haven't heard anything about probably 2 years on that.
That's right. It kind of dried up a bit, didn't it? And I think people are kind of worried now that it might never happen. I just felt it was a ridiculous decision. I mean, they had that blockbuster movie, then follow it up a couple of years later. I mean, it would have done so much business, you know.
Well, you know, I would wager a bet you're going to see one of the studios get involved with one of the theme parks in about the next 5 or 6 years. Probably want to do something again. Like, were you ever familiar with the Universal Star Trek experience that they did back in the '90s at Universal Studios Hollywood in Florida?
I did see some links, I think, about that. Yeah.
I should send you. I did that too as a young child and have video of that still.
It's probably the best thing.
But I mean that was a huge fun success I remember for the parks at the time, and I would wager to bet with the success of the new Abrams movies, because that was, I mean, those were blockbuster hits. We might see something again, I'm hoping. Oh, sorry. That's how you cross your fingers.
Oh,
in
understand.
space.
I feel like a Cardassian right now.
When you refer to the video there from that park, was that it was a green screen video that they put you in with Kirk or something, was it?
There was two, actually.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, there was in Florida, Universal Studios Florida, they had a green screen effect where you could kind of sit down. I think they did an interview section. They put you in a little section of the movie with William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, kind of like the float or the traveling tour that was in Long Beach.
Yeah, similar to the traveling tour that's actually still kind of going on now. And then in Hollywood, what was cool is that they actually had a full mock-up set of the Enterprise, the movie series, basically, and then the engineering, and they did like one exterior set, and they basically brought people in, had you all film live on stage in front of this big audience, did sections, and then plopped you into little sections of Wrath of Khan, and then kind of made its own little plot out of it, made about a 5-10 minute movie, and you could buy it afterwards. And it was a lot of fun. And what I've heard out here, is that a lot of those costumes and the set pieces are still off in storage over at Universal. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know where.
That'd be fun.
It's so cool to think that you got a chance again to do that again. Bring back the experience. If anyone with any power with that is...
do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Shake
think
our fist at the world. Do
for
it.
sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you can imagine a Star Trek 2 tie-in there when that next film comes out, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They get so many people in there.
I'd go over there with Chris Pine. He's dreamy.
So again, people who are going to be at the convention, they're going to see you, will say on the floor, you're going to be going around with a camera. Have you got any shows planned for in and around that time?
Yeah, actually, we've been very fortunate in the past to work with some folks out in Vegas, a little bit of comedy management before, and some really nice comedians out there. And we're in early talks with them right now to kind of set up for, I think it's 4 nights this year for the convention that's going to be happening. We're trying to actually set up and do shows each night. And when we're out there, we'll probably actually be putting together a show that's going to involve some other comics here from LA that we're close with who do kind of sci-fi based material a lot. And we're going to put on a night that's going to be, hey, if after the convention you want to swing by, this bar that's up the street, come on by, we're working out, maybe even getting free admission for a couple of nights. Come on in and hang out, see a sci-fi Star Trek based comedy show after the convention.
And I thoroughly recommend
So we'll have
it.
all those details up on our, and we'll put all that stuff up on our website in the
so
next
it's-
couple months before, the convention rolls around too, when we get the details all worked out.
Yeah, because I certainly remember from being there that it was always those off-site, off the hotel locations that were the best after parties. You could hang around in the Hilton for a little while and then realise I need to get to the Strip.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
certainly what I found. I mean, I did kind of only go there one time. It's a bit of a pilgrimage to come from Ireland to there, but yeah, I mean, it certainly was a great thing. Well, for people who are maybe there and are going to see you, maybe we'll take another song if you wouldn't mind, and give people maybe another blast of what they might expect to hear.
Yeah, we'd love to. This is actually this is a fairly new one for us. This is a internet exclusive.
Cool.
Not
cool.
that we haven't recorded. It's just no one's bought it.
It's almost a world premiere.
It's exclusive to Trekspeak here. But this is actually a song that is all based on our just dire love of growing up with the Star Trek franchise. In 1966, we would boldly go on a 5-year mission on a 3-year show. With 11 movies, there are 7 to select. We love you, James T, but please don't direct. Abrams rebooted the scene back in '09. Sparks in love, don't waste my time. Some like Star Wars, but I'll take a rain check. Give me 30 epic years all about Star Trek.
Beam 'em up, beam 'em down, beam 'em up, beam 'em down,
Trek it up,
beam 'em up, beam 'em down, beam 'em up, beam 'em down,
trek it up.
Crank it up to warp 9, gotta speed through space. Kirk's gotta get it on with every female race. Always a plot twist, triples be trouble. In the mirror universe, you're gonna see double. Uhura on the console, taking space calls. Bruce Bandick's uniforms ain't logical. Klingons decloak, they better step off. Enterprise as a Russian, don't frack with Chekhov. Beam 'em up, beam 'em down, beam 'em up, beam 'em down, trek it up. Beam 'em up, beam 'em down, beam 'em up, beam 'em down, trek it up.
So rip off your shirts, get into a fight. Enlist an engineer who has no sight. If you're cruising through the quadrant to see the sights, skip Cardassia, they only have 4 lights. Sport a red shirt, your life will be slim. The last word you'll hear,
He's dead, Jim.
for all you norms who survive this low, you're an honorary Trekkie, we make it so.
Beam 'em up, beam 'em down, beam 'em up, beam 'em down,
Trek it up,
Beam 'em up, beam 'em down, beam 'em up, beam 'em down, check it up. Beam 'em up. Rawhide.
Wonderful.
there you go, check it up.
Check it up.
An absolute exclusive there. Very thankful to hear that. And again, so much great Star Trek material from you guys. It's pity I'm not in LA. I would catch a show for sure.
Well, hey, anytime, you're welcome to come and hang with us.
And hopefully one day we'll make it across the pond.
Absolutely, like I say, I mean, convention, it's a bit of a fever, and I think when you go there, I think you'll probably be back year on year, because I think it's one of the best places as well to network, isn't it, for Star Trek themed everything, everything from the merchandise to the acts and all that. But to speak a bit more about Star Trek, I suppose to ask you individually your own personal memories of Star Trek, maybe when you first got into it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Do I need earmuffs so you can talk?
No,
Personally?
you go first, and,
Oh,
then,
sure.
and then I'll bring the good stuff.
You know, I think first getting into it for me was really growing up on Next Gen for the most part. It was, Saturday nights on Fox 40 back at home. My dad was a Star Trek fan, and my folks, we would just sit down on Saturday night. Usually this was a Pizza Hut night for me, by the way.
Nice.
My mom is a health nut. So I'm used to eating wheat germ most of the week. But we got Pizza Hut on Saturday nights, and we got to watch Star Trek. And I think, for me, it really started just a really nice family memory. Got into it as the years went on, as I grew a little older, kind of started understanding. Went to a couple conventions. My dad, I forced him to dress in so goofball and being a Vulcan several years for Halloween with me. And so for me, it was just a really nice, I guess, kind of bonding experience with both my folks over the years.
Cool.
Nice. Unfortunately, my parents weren't Trekkies, but they did let
They're
me...
not good people, is what he said.
Well, no, they're great people.
Oh, sorry.
They're my parents. But no, I got my first my own personal black and white TV, and they let me watch Star Trek on my own. And I always loved space, and I knew I could never get there because of my intelligence and my eyesight. So I knew I always was fascinated with space and just the adventure and the fun of Next Generation, and then just loving the idea of just space travel and adventure, and just also it kind of growing up, it kind of made me think about what I wanted to be and who I wanted to be. It's a very in-depth show as far as emotions and humanity and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely shaped the man that you see before me. I should probably stop.
There wasn't a gym.
There wasn't
on the Enterprise.
I know, but
that
no,
was kind of mean. Sorry.
That was a jerk move on your part. But I think, I think both of us are next gen. But you like original series a little bit.
Oh yeah, honestly, if you ask me who's my captain, Kirk is my captain.
Yeah. It's a difficult argument. That's a whole other argument, isn't it? The Kirk v. Picard
I know,
thing.
right? That's got to be its own podcast.
Who's your captain? Don't say Janeway. We just want to let you know. Go ahead.
I think it is a podcast, funnily enough. Maybe it is somewhere. But I was going to say my own thing would be Next Generation. I probably would have started in third, fourth season when it would have been in first run. So I wasn't around maybe in those early days. But Next Generation onwards. I suppose on to the kind of later TV era, then a lot of people maybe thought that it got a bit diluted. We went to DS9, which was critically acclaimed, of course, but then we made it to Voyager, and people were a bit less interested. By the time it came to Enterprise, I honestly don't think anyone saw that at all. What do you think of the later shows?
I actually was guilty of that. I didn't really watch Enterprise much, and I was excited. I thought having Scott Bakula having leaping into the place of a captain was going to be great. And you know what? I think there was a lot of good in that show, but I think it got a little lost. And I think that was a network thing, really, that they were looking. UPN was at this time looking for a younger, hipper show, and they were kind of trying to force it still with Rick Berman. I think really, was Rick Berman out by the end of Enterprise there?
I'm not too sure.
He was still there, actually, yeah.
Was
Okay,
he still
I thought
there?
he was.
Oh, okay.
And I remember, his vision of Star Trek kind of started changing, You start to see, I think after Roddenberry passes away, there's a couple great, there's 2 or 3 fantastic seasons of Next Gen. I think all of Next Gen was. But you start to see a little glimpses of Rick Berman's kind of look coming through. But anyway, that all being said, I think Enterprise myself started with great intentions. It was going to be fun to go back. But it didn't start really catching up to what was making this world what it was until that last season, when all of a sudden they said, okay, let's do all of that now. And I would say personally the biggest flaw that happened, and this is just my personal opinion, in those Star Treks that, like you said, got a little diluted, I think the character interaction of Next Gen, the trifecta of Kirk and Spock and McCoy, that's perfect character writing, and those guys played it perfectly, and the friendship of, I think when they added the poker games to Next Gen, it took the show just to a completely another place, that you really liked these people and you liked the adventures they were on, and then you had these incredible human stories that you were being told with these likable characters, and I think it got a little lost as time went on, unfortunately.
It's hard to even imagine. Over here in the kind of European side of things, Next Generation was a big show for sure. But in the States, TNG was absolutely massive. I mean, it wasn't a commanding 10, 15 million every time it was on. I mean, at that time, do you remember a lot of people being into it? I mean, it was a proper hit show then, wasn't it?
Oh, what was really fascinating about it was here in the States, it was a show that was in syndication, meaning that it was not a network primetime show. So whatever the network it would be, like the BBC or NBC, was not scheduling it 8 o'clock Tuesday night every week. It was syndicated. Local stations would pick it up. For me, it was usually Fox station, but Fox 40 at home, Saturday night, 7 o'clock. And someplace else, it was going to be Sunday evening at 10 o'clock. And normally, networks, you don't see big ratings for syndicated shows. That's the time that you put in old reruns of Cheers or Sanford and Son. And they're putting in new programming there that was really getting competing ratings. Yeah, it was big. It kind of broke the formula out here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I dressed up as Jean-Luc Picard twice for Halloween, back to back.
He actually, just because he didn't grow hair until he was 12. Mike was bald his entire childhood.
And then hair just finally grew last year.
Yeah, so everywhere too. That's
very,
the thing.
very nice.
It grew face.
I'm like Chewbacca at the beach. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I remember a few people doing the trek for Halloween. There wasn't too many here, but there was one or two. I suppose nowadays, how likely are we to see that? Do you think Trek now, post J.J. Abrams, is there a lot more youth kind of interest, kind of younger people getting into it, and maybe they'll go on and hopefully supply demand for a show, you know?
You see this right here? This was bought Halloween of 2010 after the 2009 J.J. Abrams came out. This is a children's costume that I got on clearance after.
Wow.
I can barely breathe. But I mean,
what I'm saying is, it was huge. There were tons of kids dressed as Spock that Halloween everywhere.
Yeah,
it was big.
I hope, especially with now Netflix, or now you can see all the series online. It's a little bit more. You can you have more access to it. So I would hope that the combination of those two, that maybe that we can see a show or
I think too,
a little bit more.
Hopefully, what will be nice is and post Cold War, you've seen less interest in the space program just happen.
Yeah.
It's just and there's less funding for it, and I think Star Trek's one of those things that real kids who are fans of that keep that interest, and those are the folks who kind of end up going into it. We have a couple buddies who work over at JPL in Pasadena, Jet Propulsion Labs, and one guy works over at NASA. Actually, we've done stand-up with. He does it for the heck of it every 2 or 3 months. And those guys grew up Star Trek fans and kind of wanted to live that reality.
Yeah, I remember seeing like an interview with Doohan. Getting like letters from actual engineers saying that they became engineers because of Scotty.
Wow.
Yeah.
And drunks. Scotty, not Doohan. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I was only talking to a guy who did a Star Trek animated film just recently, and he said about the animated series, he would watch it in the morning. It was obviously a kid's show, but they were able to have Scotty get drunk in one of the episodes, bizarrely.
Yeah. And I'm sure it was green, what he was drinking.
Oh, that Robin Linnell, it'll kill you every time. That's blue.
Absolutely. I think the old animated series, again, doesn't get a look in at times. I mean, funnily enough, it had some good scripts.
Right. It was a lot of fun, and didn't they? I know that with Next Gen, and maybe you know this. I know with Next Gen, the first season was a lot of scripts that were intended for either the end of the original series or the Phase 2 series that they were talking about. Didn't that also happen with the cartoon series where they kind of recycled a few scripts?
Yeah, I debated that point, actually. I wasn't quite sure, but I definitely think there were some scripts that were old that came its way, you know what I mean? Of course, Phase 2 would have been a fascinating thing to see as well. The 70s take, if you like, on Trek back then would have been fascinating, I think.
Very true.
Yeah, I think we got a glimpse of it in motion picture. And then we got about 800 glimpses of the Enterprise just floating through a Nexus. But
listen, it's been fantastic so far to have a chat with you and just get a bit of background on your act, And again, to remind people, PicardManeuverComedy.com. Pretty much everything is there, isn't it? The dates that you'll be upcoming, the videos, all you need to know you can find on the website.
Absolutely, yeah. Picard Maneuver Comedy, or actually straight picardmaneuver.com now. We just got, and links to the Facebook, the Twitter, the dates that are going to be out there, our videos, whatever you like.
Blogs.
You can get a table at your favorite restaurant.
Yeah, we do that now.
Yeah.
Ballet.
Whatever you want, it's on our website.
We just need the attention.
It's amazing, actually. You've got probably the most interactive website. Every accounts on sites I've never heard of before for social networking. You've got all the bases covered, you know.
We're desperate for attention.
Yeah,
so.
we're trying to get. We're kind of throwing stuff to the wall to see if it sticks.
Well, I know what it's like, because I mean, just starting this, as I was saying to you, like, it's tricky to begin anything. I mean, you guys now, as I say, you're moving along and you've got that convention coming up, which again, I think is going to be a huge thing. I think so many people are going to know about you after that. And I wish you the best of luck for that. I think it's going to be a great opportunity. Again, for myself here, trying to do something simple, it's just wonderful to have guys like yourself who are willing to come on and have a chat, and just to get to, know about your own stories. It's always something I like to do, you know.
Thank you so much. I mean, we honestly can't tell you what a pleasure it's been. I mean, it's been great meeting with you, Darren, and in the future, if there's ever time, thank you again for having us. Yeah. We get to work together again. We look forward to it. Come out here, and we'll get you those theme park tickets to where we work, and whatever it is.
And please let us know. We'd love to come back on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And talk about DS9.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Is there any more time on your end? Because DS9, I'll throw it over to you. Say whatever you'd like to say about DS9 now, if you like.
It was on the air. I remember that.
The Dominion War was fun.
Yes, we could work with that. That could be the next one.
Yeah.
You know?
I watched it. I liked it. I always have. And they did it well, but I've always not enjoyed Star Trek as much when it was war times. It got very political, and they handled it, I think, very well.
Yeah.
Personal opinion, it just was never my area of interest. But I did like when they were in, where they went, like, for about the last 4 seasons, I think. Every episode was set in at Rick's.
Oh, yeah,
the casino.
The lounge bar.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Rick, maybe?
I think.
Very Vegas style, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the '60s Vegas. Oh, and I loved those, and those were fun episodes too. And that's what I'll go back to. That's why I love Next Gen. There were episodes that just went really off kilter at times. It seemed like, and were completely Star Trek. They were Next Gen. When Q put you into a Robin Hood story, or one of our favorites, Elementary Dear Data, who we've been very lucky to become friends with the writer of that episode, Brian Lane.
Wow.
Yeah, just those were always really fun, and DS9 did that every once in a while. I enjoyed that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and they got to play a lot with like the Mirror Universe, and then also even time travel was a huge thing on that. I mean, they got to go back to the Trouble with Tribbles episode.
Yeah, and if there's one thing we haven't done too much, it's time travel.
That's very true. But trying time travel is fun.
It was quite amazing, wasn't it, that they managed to bring the Borg in one time. They never appeared again. They didn't need the Borg, and they managed to create 7 seasons of really exciting stuff. I mean, I know I too a bit kind of was on the fence about the war angle, but I think by the time it came to maybe season 5, season 6, I started to get into it a little bit more, and then I kind of enjoyed the conclusion then as they ran with it. But I'm sure it maybe lost a few people as well at the same time, just not being able to keep up with the story, you know?
Yeah,
there was definitely an ongoing story on that one.
Yeah, I think I never really thought about that. And I like that you brought that up. To me, the Borg became an easy out by the time we got into Voyager, and I liked that DS9 fought hard to stay without the Borg, except for, like you said, like one mention basically.
There's so much that we could talk about. I think Star Trek fans.
We'll do it anytime you want.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I certainly will love to have a chat with you again at the earliest available opportunity. Maybe around the time of the convention. That would be a cool time to maybe even see what you're up to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could definitely do a convention check-in with you.
That'd be awesome. Wonderful. I'm sure. What actually hotel is it on?
I believe we've just started my old college roommate is on his way into town tonight. Actually, Richard's on his way into town. Lives out in Vegas. He's bringing me in some information because he works for one of the hotels out there in Vegas, and he's bringing some information to me tonight. I believe I understood it's to still be at the Hilton this year, but I think they have changed venues.
Oh, did they change venues?
Like I said, at this point, we know we're going. We've got plans for a lot of goofball stuff, but we haven't actually purchased the tickets yet, and we still want to get all of the dates locked in for the comedy. So we're still like 6 months out, right?
That's right. It's the talk starts so early, doesn't it? People get so excited.
We started talking and kind of writing bits and writing the stuff that we wanted to do back last August, about a year out. Yeah.
Well, again, as I say, best of luck with that, and we'll probably have a chat with you sometime around then, hopefully before. As I say, loved hearing your story tonight and how you two got together. I must also mention again, also your YouTube as well. If you want to go directly to that, that's youtube.com/Picard Maneuver Comedy, right?
Yes.
There's some amazing music videos up there that you have to check out. The Oregon Trail Rap. I loved it.
Thank you.
Really funny stuff. I mean, would you plan to do anything more like that?
Yeah, we're kind of in the talks of trying to create the Trek It Up song, making that into a music video.
Wow, yeah.
And also doing some kind of sketches and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're doing some early work on a possible Trek universe-based web series. That'll be a series of short comedy pieces based in the probably about next-gen universe.
Excellent. I mean, really, you have your niche in this market, because I've just not seen anything quite like you guys before.
Well, we do like to say we are the best Star Trek-based musical comedy duo working today.
That's very true.
Yeah, I mean, argue it. Go ahead, try.
at least since the '70s version of Scotty and the Boys.
Scotty and the Boys.
Who did
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, no, they toured around
That's interesting.
The folk circuit. Yeah.
So I suppose
I remember they opened for Hall and Kirk.
Yeah.
Oh right. So I must ask you, just have you got one more song for us before we wrap up? If it's non-Trek, that's cool.
Well, you brought up Oregon Trail.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you mind hearing that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Here's
our acoustic version of a little song called Oregon Trail Rap. We're very clever on how we titled it, but we grew up on the 1980s Apple software game Oregon Trail. That was as exciting as it got in school, and so we dedicated this one to that. Atari, our generation still knew how to party, slamming, flipping, paws left and right, Teddy Rucks and spinning tails all damn night. But there was one game endorsed by your school. It was Apple software and it was so cool. A virtual history from a computer engineer. This is how I became an Oregon Trail pioneer. Saddle up, partner, it's time to ride. Don't worry about Teach, she's smoking outside. Load the application, get ready, get pumped. Last one to Oregon is gonna get jumped.
First, pick your players and type their names. Gotta choose your friends and put them to shame. Steven Sir craps a lot, Mike is Michelle. Georgia says Zeus, I'm going to hell. Buy that gear, you're in a time crunch. Gotta travel 1,000 miles before lunch. 7 miles a day, your ox keeps grooving. Saves you on the screen, but you know you're still moving.
Still moving.
Pacific Northwest is where it's at. $20 says you can't point it on a map. Can't cry to mom, you're in a western town. Time to be a man, put that Lunchable down. Put it down! I'm hungry.
Fat air. You pull up the river, you're halfway there. You better cock that raft, you ain't paying no fare. Whitewater rafting from point A to B. Who knows the pixelated adventures you'll see? The river's too deep to pass on through. You're losing arms, it sort of grabs a lot too. You turn to Steve and you tell him they drowned, and you all your dysentery asses in the ground.
In the ground.
Gotta press the space bar to continue. Go ahead and pick expert on the menu.
Now no one wants a frown face sticker. Teacher's down and on a flash full of liquor. She's drunk.
Is this what we're learning? The trials and tribulations of how we destroy entire alien populations. Here's smallpox, blanket bitch. That must have been a computer glitch. Forget manifest destiny in Idaho. You're 8 years old, you want to kill buffalo. Aim your mouse, get your prey inside. Shoot those antelope, program not to fight.
3 days up to go and you only lost 2 men. Hey dude, you're gonna be on the Oregon Trail.
Top 10.
The bell done wrong and class is dismissed. Can't save your game, you're gonna get pissed.
Those were good times, I know we'd be reminiscing. Born after 5 minutes of the dissing. Oregon Trail, the game, that's where it was at. Growing up in Pokemon makes Sterling fat.
I speeded up to see if he's gonna have a heart attack.
I almost did.
Guys, I mean, to the fact that you can just do it like that, you can just be asked, do that song, and you can go for it. I absolutely think it's the best skill in the world, and God, I wish I was musical. But yeah, it's great. I've really enjoyed talking with you. And again, like I say, keep up to date with that website, all those dates. You're often all around LA, aren't you? I mean, you do nights regularly.
Yeah, we play a lot in the Burbank area. If you're out in Los Angeles, and we're just all over town, going out to Vegas every once in a while, and wherever we can. Might be doing some colleges this upcoming year too. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So guys, with that, I'll say thanks again, and I must say, enjoy your weekend. It is the weekend. Hope you have a good one. And indeed, thanks so much for joining me again. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed it. And again, best of luck in the future.
Darren, we can't thank you enough. You got a great show here.
Thank
we
you,
look
Darren.
forward to doing it in the future, my friend.